ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Stollings. You might know me here on YouTube as MarauderEX, and this is a special episode of Operation Recap covering Sony's unveiling of the PS4. That's right, earlier this week, Sony announced that they are releasing the PlayStation 4, and they gave a huge press conference covering a bunch of the specs, glancing over some of the other specs, showing off some demos, and talking about the direction that the system's actually aiming for this console generation. So we're going to do just a very quick recap of it, and all of the more in-depth stories that we here at Rainfall have covered about the PS4 will be in the description of the video, so check those out. In the meantime, let's just jump right into it, covering some of the hardware specs that they did confirm. They confirmed that it will have a x86 CPU, which is a more traditional PC-based processing unit, so development will be more similarly for PC development, which I'm not a programmer, so I don't know the specifics, but it's, from what I can tell from internet chatter, it seems like it's a good thing because it's less proprietary, which means it's easier to work with, it's more standardized. It's not like, say, the Sega Saturn, where you have no idea what you're doing with it half the time. So development for that will be a little more streamlined. They did confirm that it will have 8 gig of GDDR5 RAM, which is a huge upgrade compared to the two 256 versions of RAM that were found in the PS3. So huge upgrade there. According to the press release, it does confirm that it will have HDMI out and it will have a Blu-ray player, but they really kind of glanced over physical media. They did say that it will have a hard drive. They didn't say how big the hard drive is going to be, but knowing Sony, they will probably have built-in hard drives and several SKUs for different hard drive sizes, like they have with the PS3. Other things that they did confirm, they confirmed the controller that we talked about earlier was pretty accurate. That was the development controller. The version that they showed is a little more polished than the development kit that we saw, but same basic features. It has a light bar for move and for identifying players that are signed in. It has a touchpad on the front that is not a screen, it is just a touchpad, very similar to the touchpad on the back of the PS Vita. And they announced the share button, which we'll get into that in just a moment when it comes to the direction the console is going in. But the share button is probably the biggest announcement of the controller thus far. Other things they did, they showed off games. They did show off some trailer footage for Knack, Killzone, Drive Club, Infamous, The Witness, Deep Down, which is a working title, Watch Dogs, Diablo 3, and Destiny. So lots of information there in terms of what they're showing for the games. They also have a huge amount of third-party support. They brought up a giant screen of all of the third-party developers that are working on PS4-related content, ranging from Activision to Capcom to LucasArts. It's all over the board. There's a lot of them, so it looks like they've scored really good third-party support, which is pretty par for the course for Sony. So nothing out of the ordinary there. The next thing that they talked about were the social aspects, which that's the direction that the console is going in, leading back to the share button. They want to streamline the social gaming experience, so your friends list will link to pre-existing social media friends lists like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So all of your friends lists will be in one place, which is either a good or bad thing depending on how you game. They have said that they will keep the gamer tag aliases, but they will also allow for real person. So as I go by MarauderEX as an alias, they will also allow me to use Chris Stollings. So they have the option there depending on how you want to go with it. They didn't say how it was going to play out specifically. They just said that there will be options. One thing that they did state specifically, though, is how social gaming will work with the system. The system will have, with the share button, the ability to share gameplay footage and in-game screenshots instantly to your social network of choice. If you are a YouTuber, you can upload a video of gameplay while still playing. They allow for screenshots to Twitter, Facebook, I'm not sure if Instagram. They did mention several things. So They are making it so that you can share your gaming experience with others, even on your friends list. If you're having trouble, you can actually seek out help from your friends. They can watch your game in real time, provide hints, give items. You can even give them control if you are having a particularly difficult time in a specific area. Very interesting concept. Not entirely sure how it's going to play out. One thing that they also confirmed is they will not block used game sales, and it will not have an always-on internet connection. Those are two really, really big factors that were kind of scaring off a lot of potential early adopters, because a lot of people like used games, a little cheaper than buying it new. You can see if it's something that you're going to like. If it is something you don't like and you bought it new, you can always sell it back, and there's no downside to you other than being out a couple of bucks. The always-on internet connection was another big worry, because with the always-on internet connections for games like Diablo 3, which was showed for the PS4, are not required for this console. So that is a good thing that keeps gamers gaming. If their internet decides to crap out, they can still play. So that's the biggest thing that they've talked about. One other that I'm not entirely sure, because they talked a lot about it but they never gave specifics, was Gaikai. They did say that the PS4 will not have native hardware backwards compatibility, so you will not be able to play PS1, PS2, or PS3 games on your PS4 with the hard copy media. They have said that you will be able to play PS1, 2, and 3 games streaming through the Gaikai service, which Sony acquired last year. They didn't go into specifics of how this is going to work. They didn't give specifics as to what games will be available, because as we've seen with, the Virtual Console, the PlayStation Network, not every game is available due to licensing constraints. So, if you have the games, you can play them on the old system, you can't play them on the new system, which is kind of a big deal, because Sony did make backwards compatibility a huge deal with the PS2. And then it kind of teetered off with the PS3, and now it's just completely gone for the PS4. So we'll see how their game streaming system works. Waiting to see how it works before judgment is passed. Those are really the big stories about it. They did talk a lot about more social interaction with apps, Hulu, Netflix, things like that, YouTube, Facebook, all sorts of pre-existing apps. They showed off things that are capable with the next generation of the Move controller, by Media Molecule, designing, developing, 3D sculpturing. Very interesting, but still have to wait to see how it works in practice. They showed a lot of trailers for the games mentioned before, but there were still a lot of holes left in the presentation, so we're just going to have to wait till E3 to see what the specifics are for a lot of this. But all in all, it was a really amazing press conference from Sony. They came out swinging. They took a lot of what Nintendo did with the Wii U, and they're taking those ideas and kind of running with it, along with the Vita being a play-as-you-go device, very similar to the Wii U tablet. So a lot of things going on with it. A lot of things announced, but a lot of vague areas as well. So we will just have to wait till E3, but we wanted to give you guys a quick recap of it. So check out all of the stories in the description for the more in-depth coverage. There's a lot of information. It was a 2-hour press event. They just threw information after information after information at you. And there were so many people on the stream that no matter what site you were on, it got a little choppy at times. So there may be information that everyone's missed, but we want to make sure all of it gets covered as best as we can. So check out that information, and stay tuned to Rainfall for more updates.